Welcome to the Untrapped podcast, where we give motivational and inspirational tips about life, small business, wisdom,
health, wealth, finance, relationships.
It's about being the best you that you can possibly be. Hashtag Untrapped. Welcome to the Untrapped podcast. I am your host, Keith Kalfas.
You can become permanently trapped in fight or flight mode, where the sympathetic nervous system, your limbic system, turns on and you're trapped in suffering and anxiety and fear, and it won't go away. And I don't hear people talk about this. What's up? This is Keith Kalfas. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to this channel, and I hope you're doing well. So this is what we call a night video. And listened to an amazing podcast recently by an entrepreneur by the name of Mike Dillard. And I'll put a link in the description below. Here's a guy he's made, a couple $100 million in his businesses. He's very successful. He's an awesome human being. And he came out recently, he talked about a bad depression that he went through over the past year and a half, where he was so stressed out that something physically happened in his brain and he was unable to sleep for over a year straight for more than an hour and a half a night. In the first 6 days, he got not a second of sleep, and then he was he could get about 30 minutes a night, and then it took him a full year and a half to recover, but he was actually contemplating, doing himself in. And so this is somebody who's normally a very positive, uplifting, motivating, inspiring person. And he said in the depths of his depression, which he was extremely depressed and he couldn't sleep, he was contemplating letting his businesses go, moving back in with his parents, and ending up sleeping on the couch. And he's admitting all this in this podcast, and you're like, oh my God. And he said in those darkest times, and I'm only saying this because I've got so much value out of what he said, and I do want to send you his way to check this out. But he said that in those darkest times, he finally realized and he could feel with empathy what people feel like when they're going through dark stuff. Okay, so I want to talk about how people starting a small business and getting your small business off the ground, whether it's a landscaping business, a window cleaning business, whatever you do, it can be so extremely tough and take so many years off your life that you can go into depression and develop depression coming from constant anxiety. When you're in fight or flight mode in your life and you're literally fighting for your survival, and you're not selling the jobs you need to sell, you don't know what you're doing, you're not making the money, it's just not working, and the money isn't coming fast enough, and you're stretched so thin that you're working 7 days a week, and then you're fighting with the people that you love, and then you're fighting with them because you're never there, but you're not there because you're working to make money, yet now you're beating yourself up because other people are beating you up, so now you're beating yourself up even more than they are, because now your self-esteem is in the gutter because you're not figuring out how to make enough money fast enough. It's a downward spiral. Then you have a truck. Your truck keeps breaking down. You maybe can't take your business to the next legitimate level because of money. And the harder you try is the more that it eludes you, or one thing after another breaks down. And you just seem, there was many years for me, like especially the first 3 straight years of my landscaping business, speaking for myself. I mean, dude, I was hand to mouth, tooth and nail. I made it by the skin of my teeth, and I worked 7 days a week to make it by the skin of my teeth. And then all winter long, I was working and hustling and plowing snow and cleaning windows. I didn't stop for a second. And the only way that I made it work and I kept our bills paid was by working 90 to 100 hours a week nonstop. And little by little, I watched any little bit of freedom You watch any little bit of freedom that you have left in your life, or even in your thoughts or any free time, you just have to keep surrendering and letting it go while you just keep taking on more and more. And the funniest thing about having a small business is that the farther you walk a mile, see a mile, right? The farther you get down the road is the more you realize, how have I even been surviving this whole time? Like, it's like the stakes keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, and then you're underwater, and then you think, and then now it's putting anvils on top of you, and then it's just insane. It's nonstop, and you can feel like you're drowning out there, and nobody cares. No one's going to save you, and nobody cares that you're exhausted. Nobody cares. And the hardest part is the emotional trauma that it puts you through. And then when you are supposed to be a person who's, running your own business, and now you have this inner trauma in this, you're just emotional, your adrenals are completely exhausted, and you're just running on E all the time with bags under your eyes. And then people who seem to be chipper and have energy are upset with you because you're not the same person you used to be, or you don't spend time with them like you used to, or you're becoming a selfish person and all you care about is business and money, you selfish person. And they have no idea what you're up against, and you're banging your head against the wall. And I used to beat myself up, me personally, and call myself a piece of crap, basically, and say that I'm stupid. I remember one time in front of a guy who works for me, I was so stressed out, I started punching the steering wheel and screaming in the truck, repeatedly saying, I'm only one person, I'm only one person, I'm only one, I'm only one, I'm only one person. And I started to resent my wife so badly that I kept it all inside, but she could feel it, and then it caused us to fight, and almost ruined our marriage. And it's because I felt like no matter what I did, I'm sorry for making it about me, you can feel like no matter what you do, it's not good enough, that people don't love you for who you are. And the funny thing about, I don't want to get political here, this is only partially true. Sometimes, in some cases, and I'm not talking about my wife because she loved me when I was down and out with nothing, right? But people love you for who you are as long as you're not being a boat anchor around their neck, right? Because if you're a boat anchor around somebody else's neck and you're not even, pulling your own weight, which if you come from a job where you're barely making it anyways, and then trying to get your business and get your life going, and then you come up against how much money you actually need, compared to working a basic job for $12-15 an hour. When you start to you say you got your own place, maybe you're trying to get married, you got to get vehicles, you get this business, you're trying to get insurance and all these things, the amount of money that you actually need, $12 to $15 an hour, is like a spitball at a brick wall. You need quadruple that to make it work, or you need a dual income. And so if you're going through that struggle, and no matter how much money you make, it's not good enough, it's a long, hard road, and I didn't take any shortcuts. Sometimes you meet people, maybe other business owners, who somehow it looks like they just took the shortcut and they're just crushing it and making all this money, and they're they got a nice house and they drive brand new trucks and they're going on vacations, and they're like, what up, dog? How are you not crushing it? We're crushing it, dog. And you're out there just dying, barely keeping it together. And what it could do is it could cause you to beat yourself up, and go beat yourself up so bad that the only thing you know how to do is just keep pulling the work harder lever. I'll just keep working harder. I'll keep working more hours. You wake up every morning, you put the war paint on, you say, I'll just go work harder. I'll work more hours. I'll do more quotes. I'll do more. You're trying to prove that you are a winner and prove. And all you're doing is you're just beating yourself down more and more and more to the point where now you can't even get out of bed. You end up really sick and end up taking a week off work, and then you fall into depression. It's just like an endless loop, dude. I went through this crap for like 5 years, and then you give up. You go back to a job, or you can't get your business rolling, and you can go into depression, okay? So if you happen to be feeling all this, you're not alone whatsoever at all. And I think that what changes it, Mike Dillard, the podcast I was talking about, I'll put a link in the description below. He, well, I won't recommend any of the stuff he recommended because that's not what I talk about on this channel. But consciousness, what got you here won't get you there. And the game changes and the rules change. The physics change. And no longer is it linear. You can't do it linear. You have to become geometric. You have to operate and adopt a different set of rules and principles in order to make it work. Which means working harder and harder and harder in fear in more and more hours isn't going to make you more money to pay your bills and take away this, this death grip of anxiety that you have on you that's making you stay up in the middle of the night staring at the wall because you don't know how you're going to make it through the winter. Or, oh my God, if this truck breaks down, I'm screwed. Those type of thoughts don't get you results. Those type of thoughts make it worse. Those type of thoughts attract the negative thing that you fear. So the things that make it work are extremely high levels of positive enthusiasm in setting new standards for yourself and new boundaries for your life. So the first step is take a deep breath, get the anxiety away, and start immediately stripping away or spending less time with the negative people in your life who cut you down and bring you down, even if it's your own mother or your own father, and it'll be hard. Is spending less time with them and cutting out the people in your life. It could be certain friends that are the vampires that are sucking your energy and guilt tripping you, and you have to get angry. A righteous anger, not a vindictive anger, not a destructive anger, but you have to get angry like a righteous anger. Like, you're not going to do this to me. No, you're not going to do me like this. You're not going to do me like this. You are not. See, there's still a little bit of disbelief in my voice. You are not going to do me like this. Period. This ain't going to happen. Once you get to that place, you have to be... I have a client, well, not anymore, but this client told me, he's a very wealthy guy, and he told me something one time that took years to click in. He said, you have to be willing to lose everything, and people have to see that in your eyes. And then they'll listen to you and you'll get what you want. When your clients, that you need to raise the prices on your clients and you're terrified of losing them, you have to have it in your voice that you're willing to lose that client. And when they feel it, a whole percentage of them will pay you more, to your amazement, and they'll give you what you want. But if you believe in your heart that you're worth it, and you know in your heart, I'm worth this. I deserve this and I'm worth this. Not like you got an invisible crown on your head, but you know what? You're ready to upgrade your identity. I'm ready to upgrade my identity, and period. I have a new set of standards. Boom. And you rise up in your consciousness, but now you're suffering because your finances are still down low. I met somebody that said, I feel like I'm a millionaire stuck in a broke guy's body. And that can drive you insane because you have these thoughts of making, a better life for yourself, yet you're still trapped doing the same crap every single day. It's ripping you apart. So it's not until you start taking chances and leaps with your energy and your energy body and leaping up, so the physical has no choice but to follow what you vibrate to. Like Einstein said, the physical has no choice but to match that vibration. Become somebody who serves the highest good, and you serve your highest self. when you operate from your heart and your soul and your spirit, and you have dignity and honor and self-respect, and you no longer are just doing a service business just to make money to survive. You are serving people at the highest level, and that's worth more than what you're getting paid. And you'll actually start to calibrate to clients and attract clients who want to pay you more, and the clients that don't will fall away. Now back to the negative people in your life. When you start building healthy boundaries at the same exact time, you're expanding the top as you dissolve the bottom. You dissolve the bottom as you expand the top. As you move upward and onward on this process and you start to gravitate upstream, you have to let go of your old ways of being and thinking. And the way I look at this is what's keeping you in anxiety is called stable datums. I've got a whole video on this I'm going to release soon on my I Am Ability YouTube channel. A stable datum is basically a group or set or single beliefs, or it could be a group of beliefs in your consciousness that energy starts warping around and building neural connections, and this becomes a stable datum in your psychology, but it's actually physical wired neurons, neurosynaptic connections, and synapses in the brain that have actually neurons that fire together, wire together. The deeper the emotion that you're in when something happens is the more the neurons wire, and the longer you hold that emotion for, whether it's trauma or fear or exhilaration or happiness, is the more you route a new neural pathway into the mind-body connection. So when this happens, you actually trigger serotonin, cortisol, dopamine. It triggers to the sympathetic, the parasympathetic nervous system, the limbic system, the amygdala. All this stuff is all wired up in the neocortex in your brainstem, from the mammalian to the reptilian to the triune brain, right? All this stuff is triggered mind-body connection to the and then you have physical truth, genetic truth, social truth, universal truth, and spiritual truth. You have these different levels of truth. This is all happening at once on lines, level states, and stages of consciousness. And we're like in this primordial quantum soup, and we're navigating inside of this human body as a spirit, animating a body, and breath is breathed into our lungs, and we're living this thing out, and we're trying to navigate this territory, but the map is not the territory. Okay, this is really deep stuff. You have to get behind and realize like you're inside of the cockpit, and there's crossed wires in your psychology, and a lot of this is done by design, by the system, the casuistry of the powers that be, by sophists at high levels. Certain things that you feel, like Neo in the Matrix, when you feel something is wrong, it's because something's wrong, okay? The way the system is designed, the monetary system, the commercial world, the legal system, things, and I'm not saying law is good, and law is very high. It's a high vibration. I'm talking about different powers that be that are weighing us down and sucking and holding us down, that aren't helping. That, like you could say, oh, there's a conspiracy. I don't know. I really believe there actually is. And so letting go of negative energies and negative peoples. There are these negative pockets. They pull you down. Like imagine if you put clipped on. I'm sitting with my feet up right now. My plants are sticking through the blinds. I have beautiful plants. I'm out on my porch right now. If you didn't, real quick, I'm just digressing. In the last video, my dog passed away last night, and I prayed and I was crying out to God, and I started doing CPR on my dog. He had no pulse, he wasn't breathing, and I was able to resuscitate him. I woke up at 3. By the time we got him alive, it was 3:15 a.m., which is weird, right? But I mean, the dog wasn't breathing. There was no heartbeat. There was nothing. I have a special needs dog. His name is Miko. He's 12 years old. It was originally my wife's dog. Now it's our dog. We have to monitor him because he is. I'll put this stuff in my other channel on I Am Ability. But anyways, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep right now, and I haven't been able to get anything done except for the bare essentials. And that's why I believe that in states of pain and suffering, when you're going through deep emotional states of pain. That's when this beautiful empathy and understanding and breakthroughs come out of you. So if you squeeze a lemon, what comes out? Well, what's inside? Lemon juice comes out. If the world or negative people or something squeezes you, does anger and bitterness and fear and resentment come out of you? Well, if that's what's inside. But if the world squeezes you in love and you rejoice and you count your blessings, comes out. We have a lot of stuff deep down inside of us that's bottled up. So when the world squeezes us, we might respond by having a negative reaction of shame. Right? You may have shame all the way through your childhood, and you feel shameful and you don't feel like you deserve to be successful. So you're self-sabotaging yourself and your business, and you wonder why you can't get this thing off the ground, and then compare yourself to other people who they're doing way better than you and beat yourself up, and then, stuff like that. It's just a downward spiral. So the first big step is realize where you're digging a hole and stop digging. And that's getting rid of the codependent negative patterns of the people in your life or narcissistic people that are attached to you, sucking life force from you. And there are these neuropeptides in the brain, these chemicals that are released during the mean sweet cycle, like peace, chaos, peace, chaos. It's a pendulum shift. And when that happens, what happens is we will actually engineer and co-create situations with other people, i.e. picking up the phone to a negative person who we feel like we get in an argument with, a family member, we aren't even aware, but we can subconsciously or energetically or spiritually or even demonically, co-create these situations based on what's inside of us to keep getting that pendulum, that hit of anxiety and anger, and you crave it, right? So to wean yourself off of that stuff is hard. It'd be like stopping smoking cigarettes or something. To stop the relationships with the negative people is what I mean. Spend less time with them. Take the high road. Don't entertain the negative fights. Surround them in a bubble of unconditional love and love them unequivocally. If you have a father who now you have to act like you're the father because your father isn't being a father. You have a mother who's pulling you down. If you have anybody, even a spouse, operating from your highest self of pure unconditional love with somebody who doesn't back down in the face of chaos, in the face of struggle, but you push through with pure love. You stay present and you stay loving. If you have a client who's a tough client, instead of backing down and sticking your head in the sand and letting this client, quote unquote, walk all over you, you push through with that client and you communicate with them from your heart how you feel in a professional way. And either the relationship will get better or it'll dissolve, because that which is exposed to the light must become light, because darkness flees in the light, as low vibrational energies cannot sustain in high vibrations. So in high vibrations of love and peace and honor and respect and dignity and harmony and you can get to this faster by catching up on a couple good nights of sleep, by drinking water instead of pop or alcohol or anything like that. Switch over to water. If you drink too much coffee, switch to tea or water. Stop eating fast food. Eat lighter. Eat more vegetables. Switch to organic foods. Try praying. Try yoga. Try meditation. Try walks in the park alone. Try shutting your cell phone off for half a day a week or one whole day per week. You could try maybe pressing pause on your business and just cleaning out your trucks and your trailers and your equipment in your life. You could plan and schedule out a quarterly vacation where you spend time with your family. Maybe you can get away from your family for a little bit. Whatever you have to do to break the wobble of there's like a Fibonacci sequence. Imagine there's a disc, but there's something that's distorted. And the faster and the more you try to expand, like the universe expands, the faster and faster this thing wobbles. to the point where it's shaking violently because it's unsustainable, and it will literally break and explode apart because it will have to press the reset button in order to get back into phi, because there's DeFi in your life. And where that comes from is living in a fiction. There could be a part of your psychology that's fragmented, that you're believing a lie and you're forcing, or maybe being posed by somebody else who's forcing something that's not true to be true. And when you align yourself with the truth shall set you free. But you might have to go through a lot of pain and suffering and being stripped away of the lies, which could just be old shells. When I talked about the stable datum earlier, the very same things. Now imagine you were clinging to a palm tree in a hurricane because that's the only thing that would save your life. And now the hurricane, and that palm tree, you're clinging to it while it's like chaos, a hurricane, and that thing saved your life. Now the hurricane's been gone for 5 years and it's beautiful sunny days, and you're still clinging to that palm tree like, and people are like, just let go of the palm tree, let go. And you're like, no. And they try to pry your fingers off the palm tree, and you're like, no. You're like, this guy's crazy. You're neurotic, and you're now becoming psychotic because you have deeply embedded pathologies that are wrapped around a stable datum, because the very same things that used to serve you and protect you and made you feel like it was saving your life because you were doing anything you could to survive back then are the very same things that are hurting and harming you now, and they're stopping your growth. They're stopping the upward movement of energy within your relationships and within your business and your clientele and your health. They're holding you down like a lead rock sinker, and I want to let you know that it's okay if you could take a breath and just take that in a frame and externalize it and just look at it and say, oh my God, I am holding on to an old belief. Because when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And when you're drowning, anything can be a life preserver, right? So you did anything you could back then to cope and to survive through those really, really hard times, all the way back down to your childhood. You tried your best, and so you were clinging to ideas and beliefs and any advice you could get from anybody to at least have some type of minimum viable system that at least worked, at least to get you by, but it wasn't the best thing for you. It wasn't the best. It just barely got you by. Like, maybe instead of like buying this is a garden bed edger machine, you were doing it all by hand with a shovel, and you're like, no, this shovel, and that shovel made you money, bro. And then they come out with these new garden bed edger machines. They're like $30. I did this. I'm like, no, my shovel is the best. And I literally had bruises all over my toes with my toenails falling off, kicking a shovel for like 5 years because I was so addicted to the physical hard work of the shovel paying my bills that I had developed this deep-seated pathology that trapped me. And that's just a shovel. I finally got the garden bed edger, and I'm like, this thing is amazing. Like, finally, so maybe you're afraid to invest a little bit of money. Maybe you're afraid to throw that old thing away. Oh, here's another tip. Go through and purge your life. This is what I want you to do. You get some time, you got to get angry too. Go get garbage bags, and I want you to donate to the Purple Heart or the Salvation Army or homeless people. Go through all of your clothes and socks and shoes and all that stuff and donate everything that you haven't worn in at least 3 months. Go get rid of all the stuff in your life that you don't use anymore. Fill up garbage bags and garbage bags and garbage bags and clean out everything in your life and purge out all the things. If you have anything from past parts of your life that aren't serving you anymore, get rid of them. Let it go and get rid of them, right? Maybe shave your whole head and buzz your face. Well, not like that, you know what I mean? But like, if you have long hair, cut your hair short, right? If you never had a beard, grow a beard. If you always had a beard, shave your beard off. If you always wear jeans, start wearing khakis. Start making radical changes in your life and your diet and anything you can to change it up and change your environment and start to break up those molds so you can vibrate onward and upward and upstream. And then, so I'm about all talked out, my friend. It's an amazing meditational program by David McGraw. I've been listening to this for years. I'll put a link in the description below by David McGraw. Hypnosis meditation therapy is amazing. It's neuro editing. He literally puts you under hypnosis through these audios. This David McGraw guy that I listen to, it's a monthly subscription. I'll put a link in the description below. It's amazing. And then he will speak to you and help you find unconditional love, overcome self-limiting beliefs and blocks, courage, confidence, confidence for women, confidence for men, all types of stuff. It's really powerful. And I think hypnosis is one of the most powerful things that helped me for sure. Getting some life coaching. My buddy Rob is a life coach. But if you really, really, really want to talk to me, and you want to talk to me, Keith Kalfas, personally, you can order a coaching call with me. I can usually only do it on Mondays, but it's www.keithkalfas.com/call. Right? And then you can click the link, and I'll put a link in the description below, my friend. In the future of my life, I plan on coming up with a technology. I want to develop something like this, but I can put it inside of a framework that will literally help people transform and transcend very quickly self-limiting beliefs and deep blocks that are holding them down in their lives. Because sometimes it's not about trying harder, it's just about letting go. And there's an amazing book by Dr. David R. Hawkins called Letting Go. You can get it on audible.com. If you're not a member of audible.com, you can get a free 30-day trial and free audiobooks. I'll put a link in the description below. So, yeah, you have to let go and love. Forgive all the people in your life that ever did you wrong. Ask for forgiveness. Go around and solve and mend any relationships with anybody. If you haven't talked to somebody you love in a long time, a brother, a sister, a father, call them up and tell them you love them and forgive them. All these type of things can help you move onward and upward faster. Most importantly, love yourself. Love yourself so much. Give yourself a hug and say, you know what? I love me. I love me. Allow yourself to love yourself. And be a vessel of love. Be a conduit of love. Choose love. It's the highest vibrational frequency. All right, I'm going to bed, my friend. I wish you the best of success. And you got this.